Like every other race in the world, black people have some really bad people among us. And we always talk about how bad these people are.
So altogether, Idi Amin and Obote, it is estimated that they killed over 25,000 people.
He never governed the country. Yes, he terrorized the country. He bullied.
Do not forget that Mr. Paul Biya is a manipulator.
Like Mobutu Sese Seko, he is in hell, that I know.
Charles Taylor is viewed as the devil, that is one of those responsible for the sufferings of the people of Sierra Leone.
But Biya is a bastard boy.
Now understood what that name Ibrahim Babangida means. A devil amongst other devils to kill and destroy.
Yes, I understand it. Telling the whole world how bad people are is actually an honorable thing to do.
That's normal.
The problem is that for black people, many times we tend to assume that anyone who becomes successful is bad. There is no better place to observe this than to check the social media profile of some of the most successful people in Africa. And when you do this, when you take your time to check, the social media profile of the richest people in Africa, for example, the most successful musician or even politician, and you look at the comment section, what you are going to see is that a whole lot of people attack these people and accuse them of being lucky, greedy, wicked, whatever other bad thing you can say, not necessarily because they have evidence of all of these things, but because they just feel that, if you are a billionaire, that must be because you are a bad person. Now, let me give you some example of how this works. For example, if you check the Twitter page of the richest man in my country and you just scroll down, this is one of the comments you are going to see. Let's read together what this guy is saying. They call you the richest man in Africa. Dangote, he wrote that in capital for a reason. You are so wicked to sell a bag of cement in Nigeria for 3,500 naira to 5,000 in your own country. Is that not wickedness? So, like for this guy, the richest man in my country is not supposed to sell the product of his company. Now that he sells the product of his company, he must be a wicked man. He is supposed to sell the product of his company at cost price. For example, if it cost him 3,000 naira or 2,000 naira to make cement, if truly is a good man, he is supposed to sell it for 1,700. So he sell it at loss. That would have made him a good man. But because now he probably make a profit of 50 naira from every cement you bought, now he's a wicked man. Let's check some other comments. This one says, continue monopolizing Nigeria economy. In decade to come, you and your refinery will crumble. You lobby our government and they give you favor, free trade fair. Again, no evidence to support that this guy lobby your government, and no evidence to support that he's monopolizing the economy, because the last time I checked, there were actually about 9 cement producers in Nigeria. Anyway, we should check some other comments. This one just said, shut up there, Jare. If you're a Nigerian, you understand what Jare means. It doesn't matter the social media profile of any successful African you want to check. All you have to do is to scroll down a little and, check the comment section, and you are going to see somebody telling you how wicked this man is, how this guy become rich because he's fraudulent, how this guy had connection with politicians, or the most ridiculous. How this guy is lucky. That is why he become rich. He's lucky.
Oh man, you are a lucky man.
Now, there is an important question we should ask ourselves, which is, why do we hate successful people from our race?
Why?
I don't know.
And the answer to that could be, a few things. One of them is jealousy. One of them could be the assumption of luck. And another could be that we assume that they are too successful. There is really something like that. People assume that you are too successful. Kind of like, why are you supposed to have $5 billion when somebody has nothing? So I should hate you for that.
Yes. Yes, they are.
And yes, of course, all over the world, people naturally have hatred for whoever is successful, so I understand that. But in the case of black people, it actually goes beyond, hating somebody when they are alive. For black people, we usually hate successful people several years or forever, even when they are dead. And you may want to ask me, how do you know this? Well, I know that because when somebody dies, a successful person dies in African community, and you go to bookstore to find a book about him, well, I'm sorry, nobody in the world, in Africa, is willing to learn anything about this guy, mostly because they hate him. So you will not find anything written about him. Which is, by the way, the reason why I'm making this video. I'm getting to that very soon. For example, I have been looking for the autobiography of this guy for about 4 years now. And I could not find it in any Nigeria bookstore. If you can find it, please send me a link. The same with this guy. And even though this guy is still alive in his late 70s, I was at the bookstore just 2 weeks ago asking for his biography, which I know he wrote some times ago, and I couldn't find any. Why? Because, black people really have some level of hatred for successful people in their communities. So they really don't care about knowing anything about these people.
Why do you hate them so much?
Now, I have to take you to the reason why I'm making this video, which is, you see, we can accuse successful people in our race to be bad people, to be wicked people, or ridiculously, to be lucky. But if we do not appreciate them or cherish them, we are actually making the future of the coming generation to be worse, because we do not appreciate people who are successful today. And I need to explain how this works. You see, the very first reason why as black people we should appreciate and cherish successful people in our communities, in our country, is because every successful person you know today is having some knowledge, experience, and wisdom that are needed by the next generation. Yes, I know. You can tell me, yeah, that guy become rich because he's a child of a politician. Yes. That guy became rich because his father gave him $1 million. Yes. This is the most ridiculous one. Oh, that guy became rich because he was lucky. Yes. But for every successful person you know today, whether you think they are lucky, you think they have connection with politicians, or whatever you think about them, every successful person you know today actually knows something and do something which other people in his generation don't do. Okay, so now what you really want to do if you want to create multiple successes, is that the correct English? Never mind. If you want to create generations of people who become successful after their forefather, is that you want to create an environment where successful people in our communities and country can freely speak about what they know. A good example of what I'm talking about is in my country, there are so many rich people. You can make a list of billionaires in my country. And today, as I speak with you, I can give you 5 of their names, and I will ask you to go and search YouTube, and you will never find a single video of these people interacting with their fellow citizens, young people I mean, talking about what they have learned in the last 20 years, in the last 30 years, in the last 50 years. Why? Well, because the society does not really appreciate them for being successful. And the problem about they not speaking up, talking to the next generation, writing book about their experiences is that you really don't pass some knowledge and inspiration down to the next generation. So you leave the next generation without a ladder to climb on. Now, the second reason why we should appreciate and cherish the successful people in our race is that when you do not appreciate these people, you deny them the possibility of they becoming heroes again for the next generation. For example, think about how America talks about their past heroes.
George Washington,
Henry Ford,
Abraham Lincoln here,
Andrew Carnegie,
John D. Rockefeller,
Thomas Edison,
Albert Einstein,
Walt Disney,
Alexander Graham Bell,
Benjamin Franklin,
Neil Armstrong.
For most of the successful Americans, you can see their statues all around. You can find documentaries about them. You can find their biographies all around. You can find movies and thousands of books about them. When you have these materials, roaming around in your circulation, what you are doing is you are giving images to the next generation that, oh, yeah, that is George Washington. If you like him, you can choose to become like him. That is Abraham Lincoln. That is John D. Rockefeller. That is Andrew Carnegie. He was a good man. If you choose to become like him, you can become like him. This is very important for any society and race because several scientific studies have shown that young people do well if at a very early age they could see the image of somebody and tell themselves, I want to become like Steve Jobs when I grow up. I want to become like Nikola Tesla when I grow up. Now, you must have seen how black people destroy these opportunities for the next generation. But if you have not seen it, let me tell you. Because we have made all our successful people to look as bad, evil, demonic people that we should hate and crucify. The message we are sending to the next generation is, oh, you can't become like Dangote because he was a bad man. You can't become like Stripe Masiyiwa because, he stole money. Or you can't become like this. At the end of the day, many young people in our race really don't have anybody they can model their life all around. And in the absence of good people to model their life all around, they choose whoever is available, including bad, really now truly bad people. Okay, at this point, I think I should make something clear, and that is the objective of this video is not to get you to believe that every successful person in Africa or in the black race is a good person. No, that is not the point. The point I'm making is that we have to stop or resist the temptation to assume that every successful person in our continent or our country is a bad person. So let me give you an example. Look at this guy, Steve Jobs, you know him. Today, if you listen to American media and you hear what they talk about him, you will believe this guy was an angel. But I challenge you to go and read his biography, which I have read, and you are going to discover that this guy was, not that good a human being, you know. If you want to judge him based on how he treated his daughter, how he treated his employees, or how he treated 90% of people that came, across him in his lifetime, then you are going to consider this guy a bad human being. And that is what black people do. They look at the bad side of a successful person and say, that man is a demon. However, I challenge you to listen to what America or American media is saying today about this guy.
As tributes to Apple's co-founder Steve Jobs flooded in, US President Barack Obama described him as one of the greatest American innovators.
All saying that Steve Jobs changed lives and changed life.
Steve Jobs, who's been called America's modern-day Thomas Edison, the man who changed the world with Apple computers, iPods, iPhones, and more.
So when he announced his retirement this past summer, Apple co-founder Steve Jobs went immediately into this slot, in our minds, the most fascinating person of the year.
He was our Edison, our Disney, our Da Vinci. Yes, Steve Jobs was the most successful businessman of our generation, but deep down, he was an artist who worked in metal and glass, plastic and pixels. And the ideas that live inside his machines completely change our definition of form and function.
Now you see the point. Even though this guy is not like an angel, today American media says good thing about him because that is what they want you to see. That is what they want you to know about him. And that helps the next generation to learn what is good about this guy. So, as black people, we have to understand that all successful people in our race are human beings. They are going to make mistakes. They are going to do some things that are really, really, really bad. And as humans, sometimes, some of them, we show some sign of greed, some sign of, whatever negative things, selfishness, whatever negative things you can associate with human beings. That does not mean they are totally bad people. What we should do is to look for what is good about them, and because of that, try to pass those characteristics to the next generation. Oh, these guys are hardworking. These guys are diligent. These guys maintain their money. Oh, these guys were ambitious. Those are the traits we need the next generation to admire about them, which is good for us as a people because we need more and more successful people. That, however, is not possible if every day we think everybody who becomes successful in our countries becomes successful because they are evil. Thank you so much for taking time to watch this video. If you like this video, it is because I am not the only person working on it. And it takes a lot of time, a lot of hours, a lot of diligences to put all of these things together. So if you want to support our work in any way, you can do so by becoming the member of this channel. Just check that place. Sharing our content too helps. Subscribing too can be of good help to us. Thank you so much.